Hi, Stephen Smith here, and I believe that I have a word for the Lord for you today. Some of us have a difficult time with death and dying, with people passing on, and especially when we lose a loved one, it can be very difficult in our lives. But I want to share a few things with you that can actually, or potentially, help you live a life that will be full and complete and live the full way that God wants you to live. Let me share a small story with you. I went to Baghdad, Iraq. I was there for 15 months. And, I still consistently think about going back and helping out one more time, going back and pulling one more mission, going back and maybe changing the life of one more Iraqi. I constantly live with this constant desire to go back and change things to the best way that I possibly can, but it's not going to happen. And I want you to know that our lives in eternity will be the same way. We'll look back and we'll regret the opportunities that we had to be able to share the word of the Lord, that we had to share with others, to love others, and to help others that really need it. So you're not done yet here. I want you to stay here on this earth. Take this into consideration. This pen here is probably only about 4 inches wide. And if we say that this is the total length of our lives in comparison from, let's say, from here to the back of the room over there, it could be measurable. But if I take this pen and I look at it and compare it from between here and maybe as far north as Austin, Texas from San Antonio, that's quite a ways. And this pen suddenly becomes almost insignificant. When I compare it from here to the North Pole, then it's almost immeasurable. When I compare it to the distance between here and maybe the North Star, it's thousands, hundreds of thousands of light years away. And if I look at these things and if I compare them, then this really isn't much. And to say that I'll think of all eternity about how much time I spent on this earth, wouldn't it be better for me to be able to spend this time and not look back on it in regret, but to look forward to the things that God has in store for us? In Philippians 1:21 and 22, Paul says, "For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ, so I really don't know which is better." He goes on to say in Philippians 1:25, "Knowing this, I am convinced that I will remain alive so I can continue to help all of you grow and experience the joy of your faith." In Hebrews 12:1, Paul shares with us this verse. He says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us." I want to give you a word of encouragement that helps us to understand how our loved ones actually live on with us. First of all, in the body. Our loved ones live on in the family members that they have left behind, their brothers, their sisters, their mothers, their fathers, their children. This is all a physical sensation that we can go to and we can look. We can see their actions. We can see the way that they've been brought up, the way that they act. These are all things that are important to us. So they live on in bodily form, and those whom they left behind or who they're actually physically related to. Secondly, our loved ones live on in the lives that they have touched while they're with us today. They could be friends, they could be loved ones, they could be complete strangers who they helped out along the way. They live on in their soul in this matter. And we know that they'll continue to do this as these people go out and they change the world based off of the things that the ones whom we loved have gone out and done these things with. Thirdly, they live on in the spirit. Our loved ones are more alive than us, and they're cheering us on from the banisters of heaven. Just look at the last passage that I shared with you from Hebrews. They're there, they're encouraging us on. They're saying, look, don't give up. Keep the fight going. I want you to go on and do the very best that you can. You'll be with me soon enough. But in the meantime, go out and change the world. The word that I believe that I have for the Lord from you today is, you have a life that I gave to you in this world. Use it to share consistently, live completely, and love fully. Don't waste it. Go out and use it. Well, God bless you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.